literacy. I love that you have the cryptocurrency going on. How do you balance that? With, how do you balance all those good things you're doing in the African-American community with those community centers while having people in the party like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Paul Gosar, who are they're attending white nationalist rallies. They're supporting white nationalist conspiracy theories on major platforms like Twitter. Where's the space within that for more Black female congressional lawmakers? How do you appeal to Gen Z, who they typically, they're going to spend more time on social media platforms like Twitter, seeing that, those types of conspiracy theories with what you're doing in community centers?
I think the onus is on the candidates to show up and be present in the community, be present on social media and say, this is who I am. You're not voting for those other people that you may see that in our very large party. You're voting for me as the candidate. You're voting for me as the person who wants to represent you. Let me talk to you. Get to know me as a person. Get to know me as a candidate. Learn my issues. Let me listen to you. And I hope that's what is going to occur. I don't think you can hold one congressional candidate responsible for the actions of every single member of the Republican Party, no more than you can do the same for Democrats who, like Dick Durbin, who called Senator Tim Scott's Justice Act a token piece of legislation, a token process, which was a bigoted thing to say, or some of the things that, Joe Biden has said and done in his past that were, overtly bigoted or racist. Voters don't hold specific candidates that against specific candidates because they are learning and understanding what that candidate is doing for them. So I think on the whole, I think the electorate is smart. I think they're open-minded, especially in the Black community. They want to hear from candidates directly. They don't want to be told this is what the Republican Party stands for. This is what the Republican Party does. This is what the media tells me or social media wants me to believe. They want to hear it straight from as the adage says, the horse's mouth, which is the candidate. And specifically, and the candidate in the community, in the district, what are you going to do for me? What do you stand for? What do you believe? And I think that's how you win hearts and minds. I think that's how you win elections.
I think that's a really important thing to say, to focus on the candidate, right? Now, I mean, how do you speak to someone, a voter that says, listen, I want to vote for you and I like what you're saying, but I can't get over supporting a party that, they're getting slaps on the wrist. They're not really being reprimanded for participating in these types of white nationalist activities. So how do you speak to a voter that wants to support you, but they can't stomach the lack of, just not being reprimanded for these other activities?
I think a voter, an open-minded voter in Pennsylvania is going to want to know what that candidate is going to do for their community. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're going to want to know, what are you going to do for my family? What are you going to do for my community? Gas prices are out of control. The food that I go to the grocery store to buy, the basics. I'm not talking about the shrimp and steak and all that. I'm talking about just the basics: milk, cheese, bread, the basics you need to put food on the table are so much more expensive. When you look at the issues of the educational system, when you look at the things like public safety and defunding the police, which was not a hashtag, wasn't just a fun saying, it was actually implemented policy that Democrats put in major cities across this country. Those are the issues, these kitchen table issues, these pocketbook issues that Americans, especially in the Black community, are wanting to talk about. And I think that those are the conversations that we're going to have. And I think that is what's going to make the difference in how people turn out to vote and what they're going to care about. I don't think that the average voter is concerned about what one candidate, what congressman that doesn't live in my state, doesn't live in my district, might have said or might have done. I think that they care about what you're going to do for me and my family and my community and my children and my future. I think that's what matters, because you can look at and point to countless examples in the Democrat Party of how they have failed the Black community for decades on a whole host of not just economic issues, but social issues as well. And ask those Democrats, what have they done? And I think to the ending point is, people want to know from the candidate what you're going to do in my community. That's why there's so many Black Republicans running for office, especially in Pennsylvania, who I think can make a difference. And I think people are open to listening to a different approach, because for so long, for so many years, for so many decades, the Democrat Party in many instances have failed the Black community, especially those in Philadelphia.
Well, Paris, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. I know we're just about 2 minutes over our hard stop here. So
That's okay.
I really appreciate you coming on tonight, answering our questions. It's been an absolute pleasure. So everyone, again, I am Gia. I'm your host with the PHL Standard Uptown podcast, and it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you tonight, Paris.
Thanks, Gia. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.